Saturday, 8th of February, 2025 at 2:16 p.m. here on Harstine Island, Washington, United States of America, and outside of Asheville, North Carolina, United States of America. Welcome once again to our cosmic journey. It is the Dev and Design podcast where two guys talk about their journey in creating the world's best astrology software. I'm your designer, Jake. He is your engineer, Trey. Hello, Trey.
Hello, Jake.
How are the beauties of those Purple Mountain Majesties out there in North Carolina?
Yeah, it's beautiful here. We went for a nice hike today. Weather's been gorgeous. And it is, it's just been absolutely lovely. We're in a cabin like in the Appalachian Mountains. It's completely, we're very rural, which is why my internet is super crappy. So if throughout the video there's issues, that's why.
That's why.
But yeah, it's really nice.
How are the roads right now over there?
The roads are fine. Some of them are still closed from Hurricane Helen, I think. Yeah. It was a really, really nasty storm that came through here, and there's still a lot of wreckage from it. But communities are trying to clean up, and we were trying to go on a specific hike, and Google was like, "Oh yeah, you can totally like go to the thing," and all of the roads were closed and washed out from the storm. So, but I think it's in recovery mode. So yeah.
Nice. Well, glad that you're having a lovely time. I hear it's very warm down there. It is incredibly cold here. My poor little feetsies are going to fall off. So I'm glad you're enjoying the warmth there in beautiful North Carolina. Today's episode, as you can see in the agenda right over here, is called The Governing Force, which sounds very ominous, but really is about one of our agenda items. So we will do a discussion about what Logos is. It's part of our replatforming, and what I've written here is Storybook Firmament. We've talked about the Firmament, and we have this thing called Storybook. But before we get to all of that, we always start with the check-in question, which is Mr. Henry's check-in question. Go ahead.
Yeah, so check-in question is, I've been doing a lot of knitting lately. And so if you were a knitting stitch or a knitting pattern, what kind of knitting pattern would you be?
A knitting stitch or a knitting pattern? Okay, I don't know much about knitting stitches or knitting patterns, so I'm just going to answer the question as, I'll just try to do the best I can.
It's fine.
I would be like a houndstooth pattern that's on top of a hot water bottle. And perhaps this is because my little feetsies are so cold, but I really, really wish that I had a nice warm bottle at my feet right now. And I wanted to have houndstooth because I love my favorite pattern, I think, is houndstooth, but houndstooth that is in weird colors. So you give me a kind of a puce and a green kind of thing, and I love it. Like, those are two colors that clash, and the houndstooth is kind of a clashing pattern. There's something about that is really intoxicating to me. I couldn't tell you why.
Yeah, I love that. Houndstooth is such a cool pattern. I love it, especially like you said, when it's different colors, so it's not just black and white.
Yeah, give me like a white, or maybe like a cream with like a tan houndstooth. Oh, so good. They should make pants like that. I would wear them.
Yeah, for me, I think I would probably be some a kind of like lace pattern that is really complicated and fidgety and difficult but also really, really cool looking when it's done correctly, but also really hard to do.
So you cut out a little bit. You said it's fidgety and difficult and probably frilly was the other word that we missed from you?
Let's go with frilly. Actually, that's better than probably what I said.
It's lost. Those bits are lost, but you know what? I like the word frilly. So we're just going to substitute.
Oh, I was just going to say knit lacey underthings. Just imagine that. Yeah.
Fidgety, knitty, lacy underthings. That is Mr. Henry, for sure. Okay, before the internet completely goes out, Mr. Henry, tell us a little bit about Logos.
Yeah, I'll try to keep this really brief because the internet is so bad. We talked last time about how we have sort of moved our stuff over into this new platform. We moved Asabove and Sobelow over, and one of the things that we needed to do was to have a shared library between the two. That's now been added, which is amazing. And now we have a single place to have a single source of um, shared like libraries that are used both in Sobelow and Asabove. So that's really cool. We now have that. There's like a proof of concept for this in here. And another cool thing about it is that we also now have some pretty cool documentation for it as well, which helps with IDEs and editing and coding and stuff. This is just like an example function, but it's coming along.
Love that. And what does that get us, just generally speaking?
Yeah, it gets us the ability to define a bunch of things that are common across both Asabove and Sobelow in one place. So, for example, in astrology, we might define uh, um, our how we calculate essential dignity, for example, and we don't want to have that in both Asabove and Sobelow as separate code bases. So we can put that into our new sort of used in both places package, which we call Logos. And that allows us to code it once and use it in multiple places. Now, another example of this would be the very complicated code around how we make sure that when a chart is rendered, glyphs and labels and things like that don't overlap. And so in the future, if we want to be able to do like server-side rendering of a chart image, for example, all of that will be defined in one place. And so unlike when we were doing this before, we would have to define it both in the Asabove code that runs in the browser, which is separate from the Sobelow code, which runs on the server on a completely different platform.
And we
So
talked a little
does
bit
that?
about that last week, where we were saying we were writing things in one place, another place, and while they were
Yeah.
mostly the same, or if not completely the same, we were worried that like things might fall out of sync. And you always want things to be encapsulated in one place, as opposed to having them in two different places. This new platform gives us that. And so we have as above, we have so below, we've got logos in the middle, which by the way, I was looking up logos just as a side point here. The word logos has a lot of different
Mhm.
meanings to it. One of them is like the divine word, like John 1, like chapter 1, verse 1 from the Bible. We're
Oh.
not making a biblical reference of logos here. I think we're making,
Yeah, no, no, no.
yeah,
Yeah, this is like Greek origin roots of that word.
yeah, which is why I chose to use the term the governing force as opposed to the divine word as the title today. Just as a side point here, going from Logos and leading into Storybook, tell us a little bit about that journey that we're going to go on right now in this next demo. Now, going from Logos into Storybook and the Firmament, can you tell us a little bit about where that journey is taking us right now?
Yeah, so we've started to add the ability to componentize our UI and build out our component framework like we had when we were on the old platform, just in developed within the new platform. So I have a very basic component here which we can navigate to. We also have navigation now built in, and this has this is using shared state, so you can see that it's showing the same thing. But the cool thing is that we also now have this is basically the Firmament, and we call it the Firmament, and I might be able to like
We can
rebrand
change
this,
the
whatever.
logo.
But
Yeah.
yeah, exactly. But this is a thing called Storybook, which is for this platform, and it works incredibly well. It's so nice, you can see here that we have some documentation. It shows us what the rendering of the thing looks like, and then we can also have a bunch of variants. We can visually test them. We can test out interactions. And it's just really nice. We can even glue things together into like user flows via pages, for example. Yeah,
That's
so it's just
cool.
really robust and really nice, and just gives us a lot more than the home rolled firmament that we were using before.
Yeah, which
So yeah, things.
we love, but it's time to move on to something that's not so uh, DIY and homemade. We're gonna do some. We're gonna make our new stuff within a. I mean, we have this new platform. We might as well use all of the parts of the platform. That's kind of what this comes down to.
Yeah, exactly, and because we can now take advantage of these things, which are sort of like long-lived open source projects, which are very robust and mature and really great. Like this has theming built into it. Like it understands Tailwind. You could do Tailwind theming. Like it's just going to give us a lot more bang for our buck.
Love it. Let's go bang those bucks. Okay, before your internet completely collapses, what should, you know what? I will tell you what the viewer should do. Dear viewer, go get yourself a hot water bottle. Maybe it has a houndstooth pattern on it, maybe it doesn't, but why don't you get those feet warmed up? Your feet are so cold. Go warm up your feet today. Uh, Once your feet are warm, you may take a walk if you would like. You know what? I'm not going to take a walk. Oh, look at those beautiful socks. I love those. Are those mine?
Those are yours.
Ooh. Well, I'm looking forward to wearing those socks. Be well, take care. Thank you so much for spending your Saturday or whatever day you spent with us. We'll see you again next week. We love you very much, and we will talk to you again very soon. Goodbye.
Bye.